Hey everyone, it's Robin, Queen Bee. So, I was gonna do a question and answer video a long time ago, right? When I lived in Florida. So, I haven't had a chance to do it, so I'm gonna do it today, right? So, I have my questions and answers. So, we're gonna take a look at them. All right, so, first question. Do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Um, And do you prefer boys or girls? Wow. So I do not have a girlfriend at the moment. When you asked this question, I did have a girlfriend. I was in a lesbian relationship. Um, I do not have a boyfriend. um, do I prefer boys or girls? I don't know, right? I've always been with girls all my life. I'm 51. Yes, I am 51. Um, I've always been with girls, but lately I've been like trying finding guys very attractive and hot, right? So I guess I'm gonna make that decision whenever, right? But the thing of it with me is I don't really look at gender. I want somebody that's gonna love me, right? For me. So it doesn't really matter to me if they're male, they're female, they're trans male, trans female. That doesn't matter to me, as long as they love me and treat me right. Does that make sense? I hope that answers your question. So I have another question from. Oh, that question, I'm sorry, was from Michelle. I have another question from a Robin. Go figure, right? We think of all kinds of stuff. She wants to know what kind of underwear I wear. Well, I don't wear boys' underwear. I actually haven't wore boys' underwear in probably 2 years. Um, which I know that kind of sounds weird since I just came out in July of 2017. But I was married, and my wife didn't know that I was wearing girls' underwear, right? I kept them very well hid. So I like all kinds. Um, I love lace, I love silk, I love cotton. So I like all kinds. Sometimes I do the bikinis, I do the cheekies. Once in a while I'll do a thong, but it's a little harder because of having to hide things, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and I'm sorry I'm rocking it. I apologize. I'll try to stop. So that's what I wear, right? So somebody else said, are you going to have the final surgery, the final countdown, right? I don't really call it the final surgery. We don't like that name because there's all kinds of surgeries transgender women can have, right? I am going to have the sex reassignment surgery, gender affirmation surgery, gender confirmation surgery, vaginoplasty, whatever you want to call it. I am having that in August in Miami, Florida. I live in California right now, so I will be flying back to Miami, Florida for that. So yeah, I'm going to have that surgery. I will be in the hospital for about 7 to 10 days, and then I will go to a hotel room until I'm released 4 days later, 4 or 5 days later. Yeah, to fly back to California. Then I have to see my doctor here to see so she can check stitches for bleeding and stuff like that and make sure everything's good. So yes, I am going to have that surgery. So hopefully that answers your question. That was also from Robin. I'm sorry, forgot to say that. Jamel wants to know what? Oh, Jamel. Sorry, Jamel wants to know if my breasts are real. Well, when I first came out, I used silicone breast forms, right, in my bra, size B. But now I do have real breasts. I had them done in October 12th, actually, in West Palm Beach, Florida, by a really good plastic surgeon there. So, yes, they are real. And I love them. So. Somebody else asks, was it hard to get used to having breast if they are real? So again, they are real. It was different having breast. Like the first time I rolled over, I was like, oh, wow, you know? Um, so mine are D cup, which are fairly big, which is fine. That's what I wanted, right? The bigger, the better. So So yeah, it was. Excuse me a second. It was it was a little difficult getting used to having breast. I know that like a couple times like I would bump into doorways with them. I know, right? But you got to remember, I mean, I grew up with no breast, right? I grew up with nothing like that, right? So it was kind of different having breast, absolutely. Um, so yeah, that was that. So Steve wants me to talk about wrestling. Wow, I haven't thought about wrestling in a long time. So those of you who do not know, and I might do a whole video on this. Those of you who do not know, uh, I used to be a pro wrestler. Yes, I was a pro wrestler. I went by the name Dirty Don DeMarco. I haven't said that name in years, right? I was what they call a heel manager, and then also wrestled too. So there I go rocking again. I'm so sorry. I was a heel manager, and I did wrestling also. And I actually, my ex, not this ex-wife, but the ex-wife before, we actually owned the wrestling company, right? So we booked big time wrestlers from the 80s when they were on TV and stuff, right? So with the big companies, right? Which I won't say their names. But so we booked a lot of big wrestlers. There's a video on my YouTube channel of one of the wrestlers, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I will say his name because his video's on there. In the ring, and Dirty Don DeMarco is coming out to supposedly wrestle him, right? And then the living legend Larry Zbyszko comes out and tells Dirty Don he has to wrestle even though he has a broken arm. So anyway, which was all staged. Of course, we all know wrestling is staged, right? Or we'll say fake because I have got injuries from wrestling. But yeah, so I used to be a pro wrestler. And it was kind of weird because I did that to be the man that everybody wanted me to be and thought I should be, right? And so it was a persona, right? But it really carried over into real life. I couldn't go anywhere without people wanting my autograph. Like I'd be sitting at Ryan's Steakhouse and somebody come up and say, "Excuse me, Dirty Don, can I have your autograph?" And I was like, sure, right? Hang on one second. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. So, it kind of became a persona that like carried over into real life, right? People really didn't call me by my dead name that I have now, which I don't like. They called me Dirty Don, right? And then, even though I was a bad guy, I became more of a, I don't know, I had a following, right? Like there were kids that just wanted to be Dirty Don. They wanted they wanted the Dirty Don T-shirts. They wanted the Dirty Don, belts. They wanted the Dirty Don action figure, right? Because there was an action figure of me, right? I don't have it anymore, but there was an action figure of me, and I was hot. So anyway, just kidding. I had muscles, right? I don't have those anymore because I've been on hormones, but excuse me. So I had a following. I did wrestling for probably about 6-7 years. We did the Haynes Apparition Festival in Kokomo, Indiana. It was called Wrestle Festival. I think we did 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We did one called Halloween Havoc, right? We did one in the National Guard Armory in Kokomo. And then we started doing Dream Reunion, right? Where we brought in a lot more of the big stars, right? Some of our smaller shows we brought in one big star or two big stars. But this one we brought in a lot of big stars, right? And it went over really good. We had a whole locker room of famous people, and the public got to see those, right? And meet them and get autographs and stuff and see them wrestle. And then we brought in independents, right? So my company was on the independent circuit, right? So So yeah, that was the wrestling. And like I said, I'm gonna do a video on the wrestling, but I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna put that together, so I'm still working on that. But so this was the question and answer video. So I hope that answered your question, Steve. I know you've been waiting quite a while for me to answer these questions and stuff like that. Um, so hopefully that answers your question. This video is in 10 minutes already. A couple more questions. Um, have you ever been in love with a guy? No. So I've never been attracted to men, right? I've never had a boyfriend. I've never been with a man. I've never even had thoughts of being with a man, right? I've always been with women. I've had 4 marriages. And I think the marriages didn't work out. I'm going a little deeper into this, but I think the marriages didn't work out because I wasn't my true self, right? I was a female trapped in a male's body, and the male's body is who was marrying these women, right? Um, but I was a female, right? So, and I think I was a lesbian female. So I kind of like enjoyed it because I was lesbian, right? And so I got to enjoy the lesbian part of it, right? Not that they want to know this, but it is what it is, right? It happens. But so no, I've never been attracted to men, never had a boyfriend, never wanted a boyfriend. However, lately I have been noticing that I have been finding men attractive and hot, right? Think I said that earlier. So yeah, it's kind of like, what's going on here, right? Am I getting attracted to men? Do I think I want to be with a man? I don't know, you know? So, so to answer your question, no, I've never had a boyfriend, never been attracted to men. Okay. So, what gender do you prefer? Wow. Um, so I think what he wants to know, and this guy's name's Jacob. I think what he wants to know is what gender do I prefer to be with, right? Do I want to be with a male or a female? Okay, well, so this ties into the other question. Um, I don't really prefer a gender, right? I don't care what the gender is. I don't care if it's a male, a female, a trans male, a trans female, right? Um, so it doesn't matter to me as long as whoever I'm with loves me for me, right? Cares about me, and we get along, right? And we have a connection, a spark, right? So if that person just happens to be female, then great. If that person happens to be a male, then great. And if that person has to be a trans man or a trans woman, then great, right? So gender is not a big deal for me. So I hope that answers your question. That gender is not a big deal. So what kind of car do you drive? Well, when I first came out, George asked this. When I first came out, I had a 2015 Mustang. This Mustang was the bomb, right? It was black. It had red stripes down the side. It had racing stripes on the hood. It had lights in the front, red lights in the front that went back and forth. It said Knight Rider on the windshield. It had a KR kit plate on the back. It had a Knight Rider plate on the front. It was just a badass car. Excuse my language, but it was, right? It was a badass car. But it wasn't a chick car, right? It wasn't a girly car, right? So I decided to trade it. So I went to a Ford dealership in Florida, and I traded it for a pretty, lovely, cute, Garber blue 2017 Mustang, which I am putting pink stripes on the hood, right? I have a cute little pink and crystal steering wheel cover that's really cute, right? I'm going to trim the inside with pink. And I have a queen bee with the trans colors front plate. And then, of course, my license plate says Robin R. And then I have a nice, cute little jewel round thing on the back where the plate sits. So, but yeah, so that's what I drive now. Is a 2017 Mustang, Garber blue, very cute, very girly, for me. So, last question is from Rachel. Do you wear dresses? Well, yes. So I'm wearing a sundress now. I do wear dresses. I like dresses. I do also wear pants though. I do like pants. I do like shorts, short shorts, cute little short shorts, right? Tank top with my so that my cleavage shows. um, so yeah, I do wear dresses. I have dresses. I have skirts. So I like being a girly girl. I'm not a tomboy. Never really cared to be a tomboy. Didn't want to be a boy when I was pretending to be a man, right? So yeah, I do wear dresses as much as possible. So that's the end of my question and answer video. I hope that helped. This is video one. I have like 15 more questions, so I'm gonna save those for another video because this is up into 15 minutes already. All right. So everybody have fun and love you all. And remember, love always wins. And this is Robin, Queen Bee.